morning, good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm the incarnation of Aretha.
You are?
No. I wish, though.
You're a white guy.
I know. God, she can sing.
She really can. Or could.
Yeah.
Of course, we lost her to pancreatic cancer. You think about, you and I were talking about this as we were watching a clip from Blues Brothers where they play this song.
Yep.
And she was just masterful.
Yeah.
And there was no hocus pocus. You look at what's happened to music, and it's all engineered stuff. Man, this is just her. I mean, I know that there's there's background singers and all of that, backup singers, and there are, musicians in there with her, playing instruments, but man, that voice. She could be singing an a cappella, we'd still be dancing.
Right? No, this is a great scene from that movie, and what strikes me is how she's able to hit those high notes so easily, and even at the end of her career, she still had that voice.
She did.
We've seen a lot of young female singers who, when they try to hit those high notes, are really just screaming, and end up trashing their voices. They don't have a voice much, for very long into their career. And Aretha was just a powerhouse. Amazing.
She was. And I think that the thing is that, that big high note, that big, moment is what, in pop music especially, everybody wants pop musicians to have that big moment.
Yeah.
But not everybody has that voice. Meaning, if you've got a lower voice, maybe your register just doesn't go that high.
Yeah.
Like Adele her range isn't huge, but her power is amazing.
Yeah.
And she uses her instrument, she uses her voice really well. It's when you're trying to be something that you're not that you run into problems.
Yes.
So
well, you found a great Aretha article that I'm just laughing about because they are in search of the answer to the question from her song Respect, where she says you got to take out the TCP. And everyone wants to know, what's that mean? What is she talking about? TCP. So I'm like trying to spell the word respect, and I'm like, okay, so you take out the T, now it's respect. Now you take out the C, now it's respect. Now you take out the
yeah, it doesn't
P.
work. It
Now
makes no sense.
Respect? I don't get it.
So this is an interview that she gave to Los Angeles Times, I think in 1990 or 91, something around like that. It's been the 1990s, and she's not saying take out the TCP.
Yeah.
Which is what everybody thinks she's saying. She's saying take care of TCB. TCB is taking care of business.
Gotcha. So she's saying take care of business.
Yes.
Sort of.
Well, but you do that in singing, right?
Yeah. You repeat.
You repeat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for effect. It's for. I mean, it's because it works.
Yeah, and it's one of the best songs for spelling. It really is.
So apparently, the original sheet music published in 1967 says take out TCP.
Yeah, but this is the confusion, right? Wasn't the song originally written by?
It was Otis Redding.
Otis Redding.
Yeah.
And then
he died.
He died before he explained what was going on with it. But yeah, she says it's TCB, not TCP. I swear it sounds like TCP though.
It does sound like TCP.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an inside joke. Maybe. it's a secret.
Maybe. And if anyone tries to tell it, they die.
So, she could sing the phone book and I would listen.
Yeah.
Her voice was one in a million. And I think about the songwriter that she worked with the most that I know of, which is Carole King. And Carole King, if you ever heard Carole King talk about Aretha Franklin, it was with such awe and such love because, she could bring a song to life the way no one else could.
So there's so many things to love about her. She is not this prefab artist. She looks like a real human being, if you ever see her in an interview, she just comes across as this very normal person,
Yes.
And you see so many of these people who they are just so plastic and fake and seem so Hollywood, and they look perfect in every picture, and everything that they sing is manufactured. It has to go through a process. They can't just get up on stage and sing, and she's none of that. She's none of that.
Yep.
It's like you said. She in the Blues Brothers movie, she's like a waitress.
She
right?
is.
And she looks just like an average person. And all of a sudden, she's busting a song. You're like, oh, my God. Right? blown away.
And then Belushi and Aykroyd get up and start dancing.
Yes.
And then, you know, the guy with the saxophone gets up on and starts playing gets up on something and starts playing the sax.
He's on the lunch counter.
Yeah, on the lunch counter.
Yeah.
I had it in my mind that he was on his stacks, but of course there were no stacks in that scene.
Yes.
You know, so, yeah, you know, the thing about it is I wish that record companies, because there are artists out there who could do what Aretha does, that have the voice to not have to be a sex worker. Essentially, Christina Aguilera is one of them. Kelly Clarkson is another. There are women out there who are in the pop scene who really can sing. I mean, really sing. So Pink is one of them, and she has refused that Pop-Tart persona.
Yeah, she does her own thing.
She wears sexy clothing, but you get the you get the impression that she just loves wearing them, and she's just really athletic.
Yes.
But she's not a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
You know, not to call Kelly Clarkson a Pop-Tart, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Kelly Clarkson is not a Pop-Tart. No.
Christina Aguilera
Christina
is a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
But she's got a voice.
Yeah.
Holy smoke, she's got a voice.
Yeah, and she's dirty. Just saying.
That was one of her songs.
It was.
And so, with that, let's go ahead and take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
You say that so excited.
I am. It's Friday.
It's Friday. Whoop, whoop.
In fact, driving in, I was thinking to myself, you know how everyone says that phrase, WTF? Well, for me, it's, what the Friday?
Exactly. All right, we'll be right back.
Why are you listening to this radio station? Why? When you can host your own radio show. You're listening and you think you can do better? You have a message or a product you want everyone to know about. Host your own radio show. Team up with the area's best radio professionals and let them make you sound like you should be on NBC. KCAA NBC Radio, that is. KCAA produces more than 50 local programs each week on subjects ranging from business and sports to political talk, vegan diets, or even marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065. And get ready to transmit.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man, at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early, purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070. Success Partner presents the all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, located on the corner of County Line Road and California Street in the city of Yucaipa. This all-new neighborhood farmers market is open from 8 a.m. to noon on most Saturdays and carries some of the freshest produce in the Inland Empire. The Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market now open on most Saturdays at 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. 13669 California Street in Yucaipa. More information at 909-222-9293. That number again is 909-222-9293, or email successpartner@live.com. The all-new Yucaipa and Cala Mesa Morning Market, now open on most Saturdays in Yucaipa. Presented by Success Partner.
Occasionally stressed and fatigued? Support energy and stress response with Quantum Nutrition Lab's stress support, B12, and adrenal support. Buy 2, get the third one free. Call 888-588-7578 or visit us online at qnlabs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Tune in and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Change, 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 change of food. For 5 long years, I thought you were my man, but I found out I'm just a link in your chain. Oh, you got me where you want me. I ain't nothing but your fool. You treat me mean. Oh, you treat me cruel. Change, change, change.
Welcome back. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. Of course, we're playing the music from the Queen, the undisputed Queen of Soul. And I don't know that anybody could unseat her crown. That's Aretha Franklin, who lost her battle with pancreatic cancer yesterday. And, of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to her family. She, her mark on music and culture in the United States cannot be overstated.
Yes, she's amazing.
She was truly amazing. All right, Tobin, pick a story.
Okay, so I don't know if you've been following this kidnap story about Molly Tibbetts.
She's the girl from Iowa.
Yeah, and it's like every parent's worst nightmare, right? Your daughter is there, and then she's gone, right? And apparently she was visiting her boyfriend, and then on her way home, and just sort of disappears, and nobody knows what happened to her. And the FBI, of course, has been involved. I think we're several months into this now.
Well, actually, she was last seen on July 18th.
So it's a little over a month then.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's a 20-year-old college student and just sort of vanished without a trace. But they believe that the person who abducted her is probably still holding her, right? If she had been murdered, they think they would have found the body by now. And they feel like that based on whatever information they've received, that this person has probably inserted themselves into the investigation somehow. So they've been going back over things like pictures of people who attended the vigils, things like that, and they've got websites set up to get tips, and they're really trying to see if they can figure out who this is. They think that they might be primarily looking for a single, divorced, or widowed man who lived in or lives in the surrounding counties. They're looking through Molly's digital footprint, and they're looking for any sort of credible lead. They've created a special Facebook page, all kinds of stuff to try to draw this person out.
I mean, it could be somebody that she just passed by at a Starbucks, who then decided to follow her and snatch her. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah. Her father has made several comments, and he says, I just don't think that anyone set out to harm Molly. This is her dad, Rob. He says, and the longer we go without finding her, the more optimistic we are that she is with someone that doesn't want to harm her, but doesn't know how to extricate themselves from the situation, right? And he agrees that his daughter is not likely with a stranger. So they think this person may have some peripheral relationship with her, right, who was maybe focused on her, and that this was a conscious act that they had planned, right? Because it's too clean. This is not something that you just sort of randomly grab someone without leaving more evidence behind.
Right.
So they think that this person had planned this out, and that means they must have had some knowledge of her beforehand, right? So they're kind of trying to figure it all out.
So they're really hoping that somebody who has maybe seen something will step forward. But I think about some of the people who have been taken and they're gone for years, right?
Yeah.
And it's the quiet weirdo that nobody really seems to talk to.
Yeah. Now I find myself holding on to this kind of weird hope. Remember the girl that was snatched out of her bedroom and was kept for so long by the crazy guy in the hills
in
Utah?
Yes.
And then suddenly they found her. And so I kind of hoping that maybe this is a similar thing, that that it's just some crazy person, and that she's still alive, and they're going to find her, and that she's going to be okay. You know, obviously she's going through trauma, horrible trauma, and will need lots of help if she survives it. But I would much rather see her survive it and find her and find this person who did this than find out that that she's dead and her body's been dumped somewhere.
Elizabeth Smart's the one.
Elizabeth Smart, thank you.
In Utah. But apparently the cops have already interviewed over 500 people.
Yeah.
Which is that's a lot. But a new report regarding a Facebook page set up to allow the public to contribute, as you talked about, may indicate that the authorities are narrowing down the search.
Yeah.
She just looks like this really vibrant, wonderful young woman.
All-American girl. She just has that look, doesn't she?
She
like
does.
She could be the total girl next door. We've got several friends who have daughters who look similar. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, our daughter looks similar.
No, our daughter looks similar too, but she just has that kind of sweet girl next door look, and I'm just like, wow. Blown away. I hope they find her.
Well, and she may not be in Iowa. I mean, she may be in the Dakotas. She may be anywhere. I mean, it's been enough time where she could be literally anywhere.
Well, they have a map where they have identified what they consider areas of focus, 5 areas of focus, and several of them are travel places. So one of them is a Travel Centers of America truck stop, and another one is a DM car wash in Brooklyn. And so they've got areas that they're looking at.
Wait, in Brooklyn, New York?
It doesn't say whether it's New York. It just says in Brooklyn. And maybe there's a Brooklyn, Iowa. I don't know.
I don't know. Is there Brooklyn, Iowa?
But,
I'm going to look.
But anyway, they've identified these areas where people might be transit places where there is some idea, I think, that she could be further away. But if this person is engaging with investigation,
that means they're still close by.
It means they're probably close by.
Okay, there is a Brooklyn, Iowa. It's just inky-dinky small.
Yeah.
It is a population of 1,468 people.
Yeah.
So, if you're the praying type, now would be a good time.
Yeah.
Now would be a good time. So you and I have talked about a lot about the how the Affordable Care Act created much more demand, but didn't create a supply of doctors,
Yep.
right? And the biggest challenge with having enough doctors, if you start lowering what they're paid, is that it costs so darned much to go to medical school.
Yeah.
So you're talking about people who graduate from medical school with several $100,000 of debt,
Yes.
because these are adults. Many of them have families, and they really can't work until their residency. And once their internship, they don't get paid much, and their residency, they don't get paid much. And so you're talking about people who have to borrow to live.
Yes.
And so NYU, New York University, is now offering free tuition for all of its medical students.
That's
Hallelujah.
awesome. Right?
Hallelujah.
People don't realize, but the decision to be a doctor is not just this great humanitarian thing of, I want to save lives and help people, but it's also often an economic decision, right? And I watched I'll call it like one of those documentary-style TV shows where they followed a group of med students, and one of them...
that was Scrubs.
No. That was not Scrubs. That's a great show, by the way. But I watched a real-life documentary that followed some medical students that were in Texas. And one of them was a young African-American girl who was married, and her power got turned off. And apparently this happened fairly frequently, and she would go and pawn her wedding ring, right? Think about this. Pawn her wedding ring so she could turn the power back on. And then once they got enough money, she'd go and buy her wedding ring back out of the pawn shop. And this happened multiple times. And she was a med student, right?
Crazy, right?
Right. And so when I saw the story that you found for us, this NYU offers free tuition, I'm like, oh my God, that is a game changer for some people, right? At the school, the scholarship is going to cover $55,000 a year of costs, right? Now that's great, but at the end of the article though, they tell you what it doesn't cover though is your cost of living. So you still have to pay for your apartment and your food and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but you're not borrowing.
But you're not borrowing $55,000 a year.
So you think about, medical school isn't 1 year. So it's not like they graduate with $55,000.
No,
it's multiple years, and so you end up again with several $100,000 in debt. So the average debt level for a study produced by the Association of American Medical Colleges estimated that in 2017, 75% of medical students graduated in debt. The average debt load, are you sitting, was $190,000. $190,000. The university, so NYU, has reportedly been working for more than a decade to accrue the necessary funds to pay for tuition in hopes to raise a total of $600 million more to make scholarships available permanently. NYU School of Medicine made a surprise announcement at its annual white coat ceremony on Thursday when new students receive a white lab coat as they begin their studies. In their statement, the university said debt is fundamentally reshaping the medical profession in ways that are adversely affecting healthcare, and I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Graduates move toward higher paying areas of medicine over pediatrics, primary care, or gynecology due to the staggering student loans. And the primary care physician is, I would say, the most critical in the healthcare industry. All of the doctors, and I say this because they're the first line. They're the first people. They're the ones that work with the family to keep you healthy, so that you don't need the specialist down the road, or you need fewer specialists down the road.
Yeah, Obamacare took effect in 2014, and so here we are in 2018, and again. The doctor's piece should have, I felt, been put in first. Get more doctors first before you have the onslaught of patients. But now, of course, supply and demand being what they are, because there are so many patients, we're now seeing a lot of places that are taking steps to try to create more doctors. And locally, we've had several medical schools that are opening. So UCR now has a medical school, and now in Colton, next to the community hospital there.
No.
Not community hospital.
Arrowhead Regional Medical Center.
I'm sorry, Arrowhead Regional. They have a medical school coming in.
In partnership with the College of Osteopathic Medicine in Pomona.
Yes, and so, this is the stuff that needs to happen. Unfortunately, it's happening very slowly. And so in the meantime, I think we're seeing this crunch as people are going to, doctors are retiring because their workloads have gone up and their pay has gone down. And we're seeing this crunch of people not getting service. And I hope that we can get this turned around. I don't want us to end up like the European model, where you have people waiting months and months and months for just sort of basic medical care.
Well, and the other side, the flip side of this, the suicide rate for doctors is actually very high, much higher than the normal non-physician population. I don't want to say regular. The suicide mortality rate, that's completion, is about the same among male and female doctors, and significantly higher than the general population. Female physicians are at risk of attempting suicide, are higher risk of attempting suicide, showing rates of 250% higher among women and about 70% higher among men versus the general population. And part of that is a workload that's overwhelming, a debt load that's overwhelming, and not, the pay doesn't they don't see a return on investment.
Well, when you're in a job where if you make a bad decision and somebody could die
and sue you, let's be honest, they sue you and ruin your life.
And this puts a lot of stress and strain on people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about our and I'm a fan of tort reform, because the idea that as a doctor the insurance that you have to buy is so incredibly expensive that again, you're not seeing a return on investment. People have to live off of what they earn.
Yeah. So I actually got out of jury duty a couple years ago, and it was a case that was a medical lawsuit, and I wanted off this case so bad because it really offended me. But it was a woman who had been bitten by her own dogs, went into the emergency room, the hospital took care of the wounds and whatever and sent her home, and a couple weeks later she had a really bad infection and had a bunch of other health issues, and she's blaming the hospital and saying that they did this to her and was suing them. And suing the doctors, and
it's like, lady, your dog bit you.
Yeah,
your dog.
And so there was just so many parts of that bothered me. That you're right. It was her dog that bit her, and then she's the one who had to go home, and there's aftercare that you have to do. And how am I to know that whether what happened was caused by aftercare or something at the hospital, and just the whole idea of it all. And her lawsuit, if she wins, causes the cost of medical care for all of us to go up. And so there's just so many things that were wrong with this for me. And I got out of the jury duty because I told the judge, I said, I see these kinds of cases as someone who thinking they've won the golden ticket, and I just, it offends me. And the judge tried to talk me into, well, you can be neutral, can't you? And I'm like, well, no, not really. I have a bias against people who make these kind of lawsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, and I'll say this, and then we have to go to break. The thing that's really frustrating is that because we've been programmed in our country to believe that when bad things happen, it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
That our reaction is to start looking for somebody else.
Yeah.
We have become careless, reckless, and stupid.
Yes.
And there are examples of that all over.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do stupid stuff. People, I'm just saying. Sometimes I do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not somebody else's fault. Like, I walked into a Stater Brothers market when it was really, really raining a couple of years ago, and I splayed myself out on the floor. And the look on the guy's face who watched me do it, he was an employee, was like, oh my God. And I got up, and I was fine. I slipped because I was walking too fast. And yes, the floor was wet, but it was pouring outside.
Yeah.
Did I get up and, I'm going to sue? No, of course not. Because you know what? Sometimes people slip.
Yeah.
Now if somebody had left an egg on the floor and ignored it, maybe that's different.
Yeah.
But coming into a building when it's pouring outside, and thinking that it's the store's fault is ridiculous. But that kind of stuff happens all the time.
It does. Yeah. Crazy.
All the time.
We live in a crazy world,
We
Erin.
do. So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm John Jeffries. Jury deliberations continue today in the bank and tax fraud trial of former Trump campaign chief Paul Manafort. Jurors sent the judge a note with questions after finishing their first day of deliberations yesterday, including asking him to redefine reasonable doubt. Manafort is facing more than a dozen counts that were unearthed in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the election. People all over the United States are mourning the loss of Aretha Franklin. The 76-year-old Queen of Soul passed away at her home in Detroit yesterday after battling cancer. Fans gathered outside Detroit's New Bethel Baptist Church, where her father was a pastor. Singer-composer Carole King says she remembers one part of Aretha's career that is not really noticed.
Totally, influenced by her piano playing style.
Flowers and memorabilia were placed on Franklin's Walk of Fame after the news broke. President Trump and Barack and Michelle Obama also gave their condolences. John Jeffries, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Lake Elsinore, a jackknife big rig is in the right lane on the 15 southbound at Bundy Canyon Road. In San Bernardino on the 215 northbound at Inland Center, a wreck is blocking the off-ramp. In Fontana on the 10 eastbound after Cedar Avenue, a 3-vehicle crash is along the right shoulder. And in Mount San Jacinto State Park on the 74, which is the Pines to Palms Scenic Byway, both eastbound and westbound, between Old Control Road and the Idlewild National Forest with Highway 74, there's road construction. A single line of traffic is alternating directions. The 74 east-west between Strawberry Creek and South Fork Trail is also having emergency road work as crews are alternating traffic there. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Sunny this morning, a high of 96. Clear this evening, low 70. Sunshine Saturday, high 95. Clear Saturday night, low 69. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy, 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the mall with a heart.
Occasionally stressed and fatigued? Support energy and stress response with Quantum Nutrition Lab's stress support, B12, and adrenal support. Buy 2, get the third one free. Call 888-588-7578 or visit us online at qnlabs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Tune in and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Marion Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And here is a story from Missouri that really just ticked me off. A Missouri health clinic sent emails to multiple female applicants, denying them job offers because they have ghetto names, quote unquote. So at least 20 women, including Harnisha Robinson and Dornicia Zachary, received rejection letters from St. Louis Mentality Health Center earlier this week that listed their ghetto names as the reason the candidates did not get a job. Wow.
Right?
I mean, they couldn't have more clearly said, we don't like black people.
No, I know. Now, apparently, they are now saying that they were hacked and that somebody else did this. They think it was a disgruntled ex-employee that sent out these emails, and that this does not represent their company.
Do you believe that?
I don't know. It does strike me as something that's very odd that a company would send out something so blatant like that. Typically, when they make decisions like that, they never tell you, right?
Right.
They're not going to come back and say, "Oh, we didn't hire you because of your name." And they certainly aren't going to put it in writing.
So
right?
I wonder if it was one of those things where it's a form letter. Clearly, it's a form letter.
Yeah.
And people at the end of the day were joking around and they weren't going to send it, but they filled out the letter, and then somebody hit send.
Yeah, that would be bad and funny.
And you know what? Karmic, because if they're actually doing that, that's illegal.
Yeah. So let me say though. When people come in for a job interview, they get evaluated on a myriad of things, right? They get evaluated on the way that they look, right? The clothing that they're wearing, the way that they speak, the way that they present themselves, right? Their resume, their actual experience, and all these things. And to try to say that you can't, judge a person by their name or the color of their skin, I know that the laws say you can't do those things.
You can't do those things.
But let's be honest, there's a lot of folks out there that those things they weigh on them, right? And you can't, it's sometimes very difficult to tell exactly what made that decision for them.
But that's evil.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying that it happens all the time. And they've done studies on this, particularly with the name, where they sent out job applications for the same exact application, they just changed the name. And when the application had a more normal sort of Caucasian sounding name, they got a lot more callbacks than when they had the more unique ethnic sounding names, and
okay, so let's redefine normal.
Okay.
If they had white sounding names versus black sounding names, we'll say it that way.
Okay, if you want to say it that way.
Because that's what's happening.
Well, when I say normal, I'm talking about names that are much more popular mainstream names that you see a lot more of, right?
Okay. All right.
No, I mean, and I joke with you sometimes. I've been teaching for 24 years, And I've had some really unusual names come through my classroom.
Oh, gosh, I did too when I was subbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
You
really
know?
embarrassing when you pronounce those unique names wrong.
I die every year, and I tell the kids, I said, I apologize before I even begin to take roll. Some of you are probably going to have names that I will mispronounce, and please just be patient with me. Names are important to me. I want to make sure that I say it correctly, you know. And sometimes I never can. I have kids who have names that are just that unusual, and there's a sound that I just don't hear it, and I can't say it properly. And I see the look on their face every time I try, like they cringe, like, oh, Mr. Brinker, you just blew it again. And so oftentimes I'll get them to sort of give me an alternate, do you have a nickname you go by or something? And most kids do, and then I'll just settle into that, And I feel bad because names are important.
So I feel for these people, for these women, and they were all women. They were all female, if I remember correctly. So I feel for these women, and I honestly hope they sue, because that's not okay.
Yeah,
it's really not okay. But you cannot control the name that your parents gave you, and if everything about you, if they won't, because you don't even get in the door with the you send in the resume, you don't even get in the door, and you get this form letter. Oh my gosh, how do you know this person isn't the most stellar person you've ever met? You don't know that because you won't even talk to them.
Yep.
So you pick the next one.
How about the story about the Vatican and what's going on there? I know we talked about it yesterday, but they've responded.
Well, and I got to say, the response made me angry because it wasn't what I want to see. What will make me feel better? I'm not a Catholic, so the Pope doesn't care. But what would make me feel better is if they had excommunicated these priests and these all of the clergy, because some of them are higher than priests.
Yeah.
So saying that this is evil and we are against it, or whatever horrible crime, shame and sorrow, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That's not enough. These people should be excommunicated from the church.
Yeah.
Because they either perpetrated horrific crimes, or they covered up horrific crimes, or both.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting. It says, the official statement that the Holy See treats with great seriousness the work of the investigating grand jury of Pennsylvania and the lengthy interim report it has produced. The Holy See condemns unequivocally the sexual abuse of minors.
Unequivocally.
Yes, unequivocally. Sorry. The sexual abuse of minors. And I've read another piece that suggests that the largest group of people that are abused are actually are sort of in that in-between age. They're minors, but they're not. Some of them are not minors. They're, even in the 18 to 20-year-old group that are.
Does that matter?
No. But my point is that I think it should just be all sexual abuse. I mean, it's not just the minors; it's everybody that's being abused by these priests. These priests have taken vows of celibacy. They're not supposed to be with anybody, right?
Right.
No matter how old they are, okay. And because they're in positions of authority, it makes it more reprehensible, even still. And so, you're right. The church should have come down on them much harder. And
let me tell you what the biggest crime is. Because what this does, quite effectively, is drive a wedge between the victims, their families, their community, and God.
Yeah.
Because in the name of God, these men committed horrific crimes.
Yes.
And as far as I'm concerned, the worst sin that you can commit is to do horrible things in God's name. That is unforgivable.
Yeah.
And that's what these people have done. And by not excommunicating them, the Holy See, the Pope,
yeah,
I don't know what the Holy See means. I know that's his name, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Has essentially said, yeah, it's okay. And there are far lesser crimes that will get you excommunicated from the church. Why in the world is that not one of them?
Yeah. No, I agree. They should be excommunicated. And the Pope should be up front and out front talking about this and going after these people. It seems like the response has been very sort of tepid and reactive, right? It's like they're waiting for other people to kind of do the work and then comment on it, as opposed to recognizing that this is their problem in their organization that they need to take charge of.
So, yeah, they're waiting till somebody else finds it. Oh, my bad. We didn't know.
Right.
Sorry. Too bad. Oh, it's really horrible.
Yeah.
It's so horrible. We stand with you. We're not doing anything, but we stand with you.
Yes. So I saw another article that talked about some of the reforms that need to happen, and one of them is in the selection process of the bishops, right? That because it's the higher-ups that are responsible for managing these people, and that whole process apparently is not good. And so we need a process that forces these people to become the stricter on the people below them.
Are you kidding me? The people who were perpetrating or allowing it, they were promoted in the church.
Yes, and so this is part of the problem. So you can't have people that have done this kind of stuff promoted, but you need people that are in those positions that are not beholden to the people below them that got them there. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be, the system needs to be changed.
It does, but I don't trust the system. We've already seen that the fox is guarding the hen house, and they clearly cannot police themselves because they haven't done it over decades. I mean, my capacity to forgive is out the window for this one, because when they first when these stories first really hit the news, and there was a movie made about it in Boston under cardinal law, the church really didn't act on it.
No.
And at that point, had they started ferreting out this evil worldwide, if they started ferreting out this evil, I think they'd have some credibility. But they've never done anything.
Yeah.
They've done nothing except move priests around to attack more kids.
Yeah.
That's not enough. It's not enough. It makes me angry. And there are good, believing Catholics all over the world who have been harmed by this.
Yeah. And where are the whistleblower priests? Right, and this is another thing that I'm looking for. Where are the other priests that are in these dioceses, in these areas, standing up and saying, this guy's been doing this stuff, going to the cops, standing up in their own pulpit and saying, look, acknowledging there's a problem that exists and outing these people, because they know.
Of course they know. It's just, again, in my opinion, and I believe this is biblical, although I don't have the scripture in front of me, the worst crime that a person can commit is to do evil in God's name. This is evil. It's evil. Those scars that are committed by sexually assaulting, especially children, are forever. But adults too.
Yeah.
If you're sexually assaulted, even as an adult, it's traumatic for you.
Yes.
So it's not enough. I'm sorry. I know this made the international news because he said these words, but these words do something.
Yeah.
Do something. So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@KCAAradio.com.
Wet n Wild Palm Springs is the one where you get big water park fun. Yeah, dive into all the action-packed thrills with exciting rides, slippery slides, cool water adventures, and so many ways to just chill. So get everyone together and get to Wet n Wild Palm Springs. For unlimited fun, get a season pass. Buy now, get a free ticket for a friend, and more. All for just $64.99 at wetandwildpalmsprings.com or at Food for Less. Offer ends soon. Park open daily.
This segment of broadcasting brought to you by Tender Hearts TLC Incorporated. Tender Hearts, the helping hands for your loved ones, where they understand it can be difficult to find time in your already busy schedule to attend to all the needs of your aging loved one. Tender Hearts will be there for your loved one when you can't be. Tender Hearts TLC helps your aging loved ones stay in their home as they specialize in tender, loving, 24-hour service, including transportation to doctor's appointments, medication reminders, meal preparation, light housekeeping, and assistance with activities of daily living such as hygiene and grooming, orientation, and companionship. We thank Tender Hearts for their support of this station. Tender Hearts TLC, where they don't just care for your loved one, they give them tender, loving care. For more info, you can reach them at 909-528-9759. That's 909-528-9759 for Tender Hearts TLC. This segment is sponsored by Tammy Sutherland of Coldwell Banker Kivett Teeters Realty, where she makes it her business to put happy people in happy homes. It's Tammy Sutherland's passion to list your house and put you in just the right house that you could call home.
She made so much extra effort to sell our house and make sure that we understood every step of the way. Tammy always had our best interests at heart.
I didn't think we'd ever find a house we loved, but with Tammy's help, we did. Now I get to mow the lawn every weekend. But then again, that's why we had kids. Hey, Tyler!
Tammy did way more than we ever expected in a real estate agent. Without Tammy, we would still be renting.
So if you want your perfect house, contact Tammy Sutherland at Coldwell Banker Kivett Teeters Realty in Yucaipa, across from Yucaipa High School. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, it's homesbytammy.net or on Facebook at facebook.com/Realtor Tammy Sutherland at 909-556-2094 for Realtor Tammy Sutherland, and we thank her for her support.
KCAA.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired, and when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind, 'cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And Aretha Franklin singing a Carole King classic. Just bringing life to Carole King's music. Carole King, of course, being the songwriter. Just gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're playing her music because she passed away yesterday lost her battle with pancreatic cancer, and she left an indelible mark on the music and culture of the United States. That's Aretha Franklin. So, what is there to do this weekend?
I don't know. I think we should not do anything this weekend. We've had some busy weekends the last few weeks.
We have, but you know, it's going to be a beautiful weekend. It's going to be warm. Maybe we'll go up to the mountains.
Oh.
I kind of, this curiosity in me, I want to go see Idlewild, because you and I love Idlewild.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, of course, they've had the fire, and the fire is, I think, out now.
Yes.
And they're trying to rebuild and put things back together. And what they really need is people to go over there and spend their money.
Yes.
So go to their restaurants, go to their bars, go to their galleries, buy some art, you know, go hiking, you know, because
go talk to their mayor. He's lovely.
Their mayor is a golden retriever.
Yes.
Which is fabulous.
Yes.
It's just absolutely awesome.
One of the coolest things about Idlewild, and you'll often see the mayor in the mayor's vehicle, you know, coming around town, and he wears a suit and tie. He's very formal.
Yes, and he sits in the back in the bed of the truck.
And people come up and shake his paw, you know, get their babies kissed. It's very political.
It's just awesome up there. So it looks like, you know, I was all excited to go to their barbecue. They do a big barbecue.
Yeah.
I think it was scheduled for the 29th or 30th, somewhere. It's at the end of the month. Or maybe maybe it was Labor Day. Anyway, that's been canceled. I couldn't find anything on it. It looks like it's been canceled, obviously, because they're trying to rebuild from the fire.
Yeah.
So, anyway, if you get out there and enjoy, and spend your money out in local businesses, always with local businesses.
I'm going to go ride my bike this weekend.
Are you?
I'm going to go on the Santa Ana River Trail.
That's good.
I think I'm going to try to go the full 10 miles from our house to Mount Rubidoux.
Awesome.
I think I can do that.
I think you can do that. All right, so I want to give a follow-up really quickly. Did you see the video of the teenagers that were standing on a bridge about 60 feet over some water?
Yes.
And there was one teen, I think she was 19 or 18, pushed another teen off the bridge.
Yeah, the one who got pushed was 16.
16.
And her friend was 18 or 19 that pushed her.
And so a Washington 16-year-old whose friend pushed her off a 60-foot bridge, now she says that her friend should sit in jail and think about it. Apparently, Jordan Holgerson, now home from the hospital, is still recovering. She broke 6 ribs, punctured her lungs, and had other internal injuries. So basically, she belly flopped after falling 60 feet. That could have killed her.
Yeah. Yeah, she was nervous about going. Her friends had done it. And her friend was counting her down. And she says, "Don't count me down." And then before she could do anything, her friend pushed her. And because of the push, she ended up going face first, basically, belly flopping, like you said. And she wasn't ready. She was not prepared to go and was having second thoughts, and her friend pushed her.
The only way to go into the water when it's that, unless you're an experienced diver, is to go in feet first.
Yes.
You know, I mean, obviously, cliff divers in Acapulco know how to do this stuff, but
I have no idea how deep that water is. I mean, the whole thing is kind of crazy to me.
Well, and apparently it's illegal. You're not supposed to be doing that because, well, you know, it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So she does want to press charges, which is, oh, my God. And I think the girl thought she was just being funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
You know, and there should be consequences for what she did.
Yeah. You know, at first she said that she didn't want her friend to be punished. And then she's kind of changed her mind. She says she got mad because the rest of her summer's gone. She says she's probably going to be recovering for the whole rest of the school year. And she felt that her friend's apology to her wasn't enough. And who knows what her friend said, right? If it came across as insincere or one of those backhanded, you know, sort of blaming you apologies. You know what the way kids are sometimes. I'm so sorry I pushed you, but you know you wanted to jump anyway.
Right. Yeah, sorry. But I know how I felt when I bruised a rib.
Yeah.
Breaking 6 ribs and puncturing both lungs. I can't imagine the agony that she's in.
She was very lucky that there was someone who had like EMT training or something was nearby, and they helped to pull her out of the water and get her help right away because it was brutal.
So with that, we're at the end of our show for the week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA.